Hello everyone. My name is Chewy, part-time god of relaxation, part-time hot springs owner, full-time chill little guy. And today, we are picking up where we left off last time. So let's set the mood. There we go. I think that's pretty perfect for what just happened. So, in the last episode of Just Roll With It, Licity and Marigold got a job from the church. If they go and investigate a cave where burials usually take place, the church will give them a personal escort to... Hold on, let me make sure. Okay, audio might be a bit loud. There we go. The church will give them a personal escort back to Winegarden, so Licity can check up on her family, see if anyone that she knows is still alive. Arriving at the cave, they notice that the graves themselves didn't seem to be tampered with, but there were a lot of sigils and markings all across the floors around and leading up to them. So Marigold, seeing as, oh, there's some cult-like stuff happening here, let's go and remove these runes, starts to do so, and in response, a large golem shows up and starts to fight the two of them. Marigold, who was focused on trying to make sure that Licity stays alive, ended up taking a really nasty hit and being knocked unconscious. Luckily, the fact that Marigold was the one that messed with the sigils, the golem stopped its attack and just kind of entered rest mode. That gave Licity enough time to try and get Marigold back on her feet. And as she was ready to pull her out of the cave, a voice rang out from the entrance. A familiar voice. As Licity looks and sees the very man that was fighting her father back when their town was being attacked.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
Hey, Nipsu. You should have been knocked out by the golem? I mean, you can be if you want to. So yeah, she came face to face with who is presumably her father's killer. We don't know for certain if he is or not. We don't know if he's alive or not. What we do know is that he is standing right before them. And the last things he said before we ended was, "I never leave a job half finished." So, yeah, that is where we're going to pick up. And I'm going to say default, Licity would get between Marigold and him, and she'll just kind of look to him. What happened to my father? Now we're going to roll to see if he tells her. I'm going to say it's likely that he wouldn't. So we're going to roll 2d6. And let's see what happens. Oh. No. Okay. Let me just make a note of that. So for anyone that doesn't know, solo D&D, it's a thing where a lot of stuff it's question and it's yes and. There's this thing called the Oracle. You ask it yes or no questions, and you interpret it as it goes. So, usually you have to take a lot of notes to make track of everything, which is what I'm doing on the side here. Felicity asks enemy, what happened to her father? He just laughs. And you know what? I'll say he'll take a step closer. I don't have to tell you anything, girl. Let's see. Does he look like he's planning on attacking her? Or yes, but. Okay. He looks ready to attack. But I'll say he gazes at the golem. Looks ready to attack Felicity, but eyes the golem. Drawing his sword, he starts to step closer. And man, this is actually a really bad situation for Felicity to be in. Because Marigold is knocked out. Like, Felicity stabilized her, so she's not dying. But she is not able to do anything to help. Let me see if Felicity has anything on her. Let's see. She does have a longbow. So I'll say, you know what? He's gonna try to hit him. Okay. Felicity, you got this. She draws her longbow, aiming it at him, trying to get at the chinks between his armor. That is a 14 plus 5. It hits. So 1d8 plus 3. Okay. He does 7 damage to him. She takes out her bow, aims it at him. She was never as good with a bow as she was with a sword, so it came as a surprise to both her and him when the arrow skids past the armor and lodges into his shoulder, causing him to stop and look down at it. Oh, you're going to pay for that, girlie. And he just breaks the arrow, tosses it to the side, and, I'll say she attacked. It's only fair that he does the same. Now, I'll say, because I think I have an idea of how they can get out of this. It's just a question of, does Licity think of this? I'll say likely, because she noticed that he was looking at the golem. So we'll do... Ah, shit, no. Yeah, she's probably, like, too frazzled by everything. So he rushes in to attack. Ooh, yeah, that's definitely gonna hit. Okay. He does 6 damage as he rushes up with almost blinding speed and slashes into her. Yeah, this is a really dicey situation. Yeah, because he has another attack. Yep, that one's gonna hit too. Well, what was it? 2d6. Ooh, 8 more damage. Okay, with 2 slashes, he brought Licity down to less than half of her health. Does Marigold wake up? I'll say it's likely. Okay. 1 and 3. No and. Okay. So not only does she not wake up, the chaos of what's happening causes her wounds to reopen. She is back to making death saving throws. So I'll go ahead and have her do one. That's a fail. Okay, Licity, do you think of a way to get out of this? 4 and 6. Okay. Wait. If I take the 6, there's going to be a... Oh, God. Okay. Okay, we're going to do the intervention dice. So yes, and... So I'll say, she looks to the ground and sees that they are standing on one of the sigils. And she sees that he's about to swing down at her, finishing her off. And so she grabs Marigold and throws them both to the side as his sword collides it with the ground, and the golem springs back to life as it immediately turns and starts to fight him. So now we have to roll to see what the intervention is. Five. Regress plot. Okay. Okay, I have an idea of how the plot can be repressed. It's not going to happen just yet. But I'll say, with him being distracted by the golem, Licity is able to grab Marigold and get her out of there. As he calls out, "I will find you, and next time you will breathe your last." So they dip. Okay, we can chill on that music now. Woo! Let me just... There we go. Now I just have to get rid of the tokens. Oops. Okay. I'll say back outside, Licity is able to restabilize Marigold's wounds, and the two go a bit farther into the forest to try and recover from what just happened. Licity starts making a camp, and at this point, Marigold wakes up. Licity? What happened? Licity walks over with some fresh bandages and so, like a rabbit that she had hunted. Well, there was a golem, and it attacked. And then I saw the man my father was fighting. Marigold, like, jumps up. So are we in heaven? No, we're not in heaven. luckily he was not immune to the golem's whims, and after attacking the sigil, it woke back up and focused on him. That's smart. So, I'll say the two have a nice, relaxing night. If anything happens. I'll leave it up to 50-50. Yes. Okay, what happened? Yeah, okay, yes, something happens. Okay, actually, I know exactly what will happen. As they're making camp, Felicity is doing a watch, and she hears rustling from the tree line. Getting ready, she draws her bow, and she sees Katusha. I think she was a halfling, a halfling member of the church that promised them safe passage. Well, is it done? Felicity sighs a sigh of relief. Kind of. There's definitely some activity going on in there. I can't say that I know what it is, but it's definitely some form of death magic. There were sigils all over the floor and a golem to protect them. I see. And did you dispatch of the golem? Did you remove the sigils? Well, no, the golem was much too powerful, and messing with the sigils, all that it did was anger it. Well, I believe that the terms of our deal were that if you were to take care of what's happening in there, we would give you safe passage. And as the situation is very much not taken care of, I suppose that you're on your own. Does Licity get mad? I feel like it's likely, but she may just be too tired for all that. 2 and 2, no. Okay. Yeah. Licity is, after everything that they went through today, she is emotionally drained, and she just goes, yeah, I expected something like that. Fine. I'll find my own way back in. That's all, you have a cave to go take care of or whatever. Katusha looks at her and, kind of gives a sneer. May the bones be with you. As she turns and heads off. There we go, that was the regression of the plot. Plot regression. They escape. Church says no dice. Okay. There we go, I just have to reset their stuff. And you know what? I think after all that, I think I'm going to have Licity level up. Because she survived an encounter with a golem and then her big bad back to back. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 classes, well, subclasses. So I will roll a d8. As long as it's not, hold on. If I get the one that's Purple Dragon Knight, I'm just not gonna do that. Or Cavalier, because there's... Okay, you know what? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's see what she's going to be. 5. Ooh, she's going to be an Echo Knight. Fun fact, that is actually my favorite fighter subclass. So... Is there anything else she needs to do? I don't think so. She is a fighter, so typically isn't too much to do. Okay. So, I'll say... You know what? Let's play out what it looks like when she does this. Da-da-da. Okay. Licity opens her eyes and finds that she's back on her farm. Flames are raging, and she's watching as the animals are being cut down and her house is being burned to the ground. Looking around, she draws her sword, ready to try and defend her home. No, I can't be back here. Not like this. She rushes towards one of the men about to skewer one of her lambs, and let's roll to see if she hits. 5. She swings, and she's almost positive that it looked like it connected, but it just seemed to go through him as his spear pierces the lamb that just and just falls over limp. You bastard! And she's going to swing again. And this time she watches as her sword cuts through this enemy's head, through his neck, and it seems to just go right through. No resistance, no feel of flesh, just goes right through him as he smiles. Does she get scared at this? That's a 5. I'm thinking yes. Seeing that her attacks do nothing, she starts backing up as the man's neck kind of turns unnaturally with a sickening crack. as he shakes the lamb off his spear and starts walking towards her, blood dripping from its tip as he slowly points it at her, and she falls to the ground. No, no, stay away! He's going to swing again, and it just goes through the spear. She's backing up, swinging her blade, trying to shake this spear away from her face, as despite her own blade going through it, she feels it pierce her shoulder as she lets out a "ah!" And looking out in the distance, she sees what looks like a kind of shadowy version of herself. Sword drawn, holding out a hand to her. Felicity, running out of options and feeling the spear slowly dig deeper and deeper into her body, she reaches out her hand and realizes in that instant she has swapped places. She looks down at herself, the wound still open and bleeding, but she sees the shadowed figure look at her, then at the man. Does she know what to do here? Yes. She tells the figure to swing, and the shadowed figure of her kind of sits up, letting the spear just continuously go through it as it draws its blade and slashes its head off. And at that, Felicity wakes up. Seems I can find the... Oop, not that one. She wakes up to find Marigold shaking her awake. Hey, hey! What happened? You're having some kind of night terror or something. It was weird because when you came to, that appeared. And Felicity follows Marigold's gaze to see the same shadowed figure staring at her. It mouths the word echo and then slowly fades away. Alright, well, I don't know about you, Felicity, but I'm tired of this forest. What do you say we get back to town? After all, we've gotta let those church people know and get you your ticket back in town. About that. So, the two make it back to town. And they go straight to the inn. Innkeeper sees the two of them. Oh, hey, that church went out looking for you guys. I guess they must have missed you. Felicity sits down. No, they didn't miss us. They just decided they didn't want our help. or to help us. Oh, is that so? Well, here, drinks on the house. So, as the two are sitting, a familiar face shows up. So, how'd it go? Both of them shoot daggers at him, just glare. What? Look, I don't know what happened out there, but I think if I was out there, it probably wouldn't have gone any different. You know, you would have just had to lug my scaly ass back to town too. And while I enjoy free rides, I'd rather not. And before he can finish, as he's like reaching for one of the mugs of ale, the bartender takes it away from him. That'll be a gold. Jeez, fine. Does Vincent... Let's see. Is Vincent tired of being made fun of and decides that he's gonna go with them? I'll say at this point it's likely, because he's getting overcharged for drinks now. Double fives, yeah. He goes, well, I suppose you'll be happy to know that, in the future I will be tagging along with you guys. I mean, the last few times I didn't. Look what happened. Besides, I have some things I need to take care of my own and can't really do all that from this town. But I do have something that might be of interest to you two. And he rolls out a map. So it may have seemed like I was here just doing sweet FA, but I was actually investigating. See, Weingarten was attacked from inside. The main question is, why? I think it has something to do with dark magics. How much do Licity and Marigold believe him? I'll say, do they believe him right now? Four. Yes, but okay. Okay. Licity and Marigold believe dark magics are involved in Weingarten. Told to them by Vincent. I'll say Marigold seems a bit more skeptical, but Licity kind of is lost in thought a bit. It makes sense. The king was always kind, and it doesn't seem right that he would turn on his people like this. I mean, if the king was killed, wouldn't we have heard something about this? He goes, yes, if the king was killed, news would have spread far and wide. Which makes me believe that he's being controlled in some way. Would that be the case for all the knights? Not necessarily. Vincent just kind of like leans his head on his hand. I've dealt with my fair share of magic, and for magic to be that widespread that it would affect not just a king, but his entire knight crew, sans your father, it would have to be an exceptionally powerful wizard, perhaps. Now, I think that what caused this is someone getting a direct line to the king and influencing him in some way. And that's why he points at, let's see, random town name generator. I don't know why I'm gonna do this to myself, but Vincent points to Bala Chulish on the map. This right here, Bala Chulish. A lot of people don't know it, but it is a town that is very highly magic centered. The hierarchy is based on magic abilities. There are all kinds of magic colleges and institutions. So I'd say if there's anyone that we can find there that may have insight on this, I'd say it's worth a shot. Marigold looks at him sideways. I'll say that Marigold does not fully trust him. But I'll say, does she call it out? 2, no. Okay. She just gives him a look. And he goes, don't you worry. I mean, if I really wanted you dead, I could have done it when you were both exhausted after that fight, right? Look, all that matters is we help each other out. I have something that you want, knowledge into the arcane, and you have something I want. Felicity and Marigold look at him, which is, well, protection. You won't see me traveling all by my lonesome. I'm scared easily, you know. They roll their eyes and... Fine. I will say all this is pretty enlightening, and it does give us a goal to strive for. But Bala Chulish is across the sea. Yes, which means one of the things I will need from you guys is to help me get passage onto a boat. The captain and me, we aren't on good terms, so you know, if you guys can sneak me in, maybe in this. And he holds out a bag, and the two look at it and look at him, just a tiny little bag, and they look at him. I don't think you're gonna fit in here. No. See, this is a bag of holding. You know that monster you fought the first day you were here? That's known as a bag man. Up until now, it was just a little story that parents told their kids to keep them eating their vegetables. But apparently it's real, and you slayed it. And since it came out of this bag and you two left it, I decided to hold on to it for safekeeping. So what does it do? Well, I'm glad you asked. You can put anything in there. And I do have to say, there is no oxygen in there, so when you sneak me on board the boat, please be quick about it. I'd rather not die of oxygen deprivation and become a bagman myself. And he like wiggles his fingers. Right. Okay. Well, it seems like it's about half a day's travel to get to the port city. You know, I'm gonna do it again. Port city of Swanford. Half a day to port city of Swanford. Okay. And I'll say Licity looks at Vincent. Hey, Vincent. Since you know things about magic and such, does the term echo mean anything to you? Does that term mean anything to Vincent? 6. That is a yes and. Okay. He goes, echo. Like when you're in a cave and you echo, echo, echo. Or, well, you're talking about magic, so I'm assuming you mean, the usage of echoes. Yes? I've never really delved too much into it myself, but I can fill you in on what I do know. I assume that you are aware and, well, I assume that you have awoken to such a power? Yes, but I'm not quite sure how it's supposed to be used. He goes, well, get me one of them free ales and, I'll tell you all about it on the way. They look to the bartender, who just rolls his eyes. Vincent, you're lucky they put up with you, because I sure don't. Vincent just kind of gives him heart hands, and he pours him a drink. He downs it all in one swig. Alright, let's be off. So... the three leave the inn and end up back in the forest on the road. Alright, so an echo is a type of manifestation of your ties to the weave. Being a fighter, it's not really something that you have too much of, but you have enough to make a spectral copy of yourself. You can use it to trade places with you in combat. I've heard tell you can use it to fly if you're quick and skilled enough with it, but I would not recommend trying that out. Yeah, you can attack with it. It's pretty versatile from what I've heard. I see. Does anything happen on the way? yes, but. Okay. I'll say yes, but it's not good. So, as they're walking, Vincent stops. Hold on a moment. Seems we have company. The two look confused as I don't have time to get the bandit one out. I will get that for next time. As a man walks out. Well, now, what have we here? Couple of them adventuring types. I'm sure they got all kinds of good loot on them. Vincent, looks back at the two. Don't worry, this one's kind of an idiot, but, he's not alone. So, just be aware. Who you calling an idiot? That's it. Get him! As more bandits emerge from the bushes, one falls out of a tree, and they start to circle the party. As Licity draws her sword, and Marigold starts channeling magic. Well, it's about time to test out those new echo abilities of yours. And that is where we are going to end it today. So yeah, much less stressful than where we ended it last time. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it turns out. I may go back to doing it on Monday, so you guys may get an extra little 2-for-1 within the next couple of days of D&D. We shall see. But yes, Licity is now an Echo Knight fighter, and Vincent has decided to finally join them. So we have a fighter, a druid, and a sorcerer. So yeah, I will see you guys next time on Just Roll With It. Goodbye.